The afternoon sun filtered softly through the forest canopy as Ember glided low above the treetops. The woods seemed peaceful, a familiar canvas of greens and browns that had cradled him since he was a hatchling. Yet, the wind carried something unfamiliar, a scent that prickled at the edge of his senses. He tasted the air, and a quiet alarm rang within him. Smoke. It drifted across the sky, thin and scattered, not rising from one single place, but from many points at once, like a constellation of tiny, destructive stars. This wasn't a fire that burned wildly, consuming everything in a roaring blaze. It was something more insidious, a fire being carried, even guided, by the wind itself. As Ember descended, his keen eyes picked out the details below. Sparks, like mischievous sprites, leaped from branch to branch. They danced on the breeze, igniting small, hungry fires wherever they touched the carpet of dry leaves. No single flame was large enough to be a major threat. But together, they were a creeping plague. A network of embers threatening to engulf the entire forest in a death by 1,000 cuts. The wind, usually a friend to the forest, had become a courier of destruction. Ember landed quietly in a small clearing, his talons sinking softly into the moss. He closed his eyes, shutting out the sight of the spreading flames, to focus on a deeper sense of the world around him. He felt a rhythm of the air, the subtle currents and eddies that wove through the trees. He understood that fighting fire with fire, unleashing his own powerful flames, would only feed the wind and worsen the chaos. It would be like pouring oil on an already dangerous blaze, giving the destructive force more energy to play with. A more delicate touch was needed. The problem wasn't just the fire. It was the force that carried it. With slow, deliberate movements, Ember began to act. He didn't roar or breathe a torrent of flame. Instead, he released short, controlled bursts of intense heat into the air around the perimeter of the creeping fires. These pockets of superheated air created powerful rising currents, thermal updrafts that acted like invisible walls. They bent the prevailing wind, deflecting it, steering it away from the vulnerable heart of the forest. He was not fighting the wind, but redirecting it, coaxing it onto a new path. Then, he launched himself into the sky again, circling higher and higher. From this vantage point, he could see the entire pattern of the wind's flow, using his massive wings, not for speed but for control. He broke the airflow. With precise dips and turns, he disrupted the steady current, creating turbulence that shattered the wind's momentum. He acted as a living, breathing windbreak, calming the invisible force that had carried the flames with such deadly efficiency. He was weaving a new pattern into the air, one of calm instead of chaos. Slowly, his efforts began to bear fruit. Below, deprived of the wind's relentless push, the scattered fires faltered. One by one, the small pockets of flame flickered and died, starved of the oxygen and fuel the breeze had been delivering. The ominous smoke thinned, becoming a harmless haze that soon dissipated into the vast blue sky. A profound silence settled over the woods. They, broken only by the gentle rustle of leaves in a now harmless zephyr. The forest breathed again, a collective sigh of relief that Ember could feel in his very bones. As he watched the last of the clouds drift harmlessly overhead, a deep understanding settled within him. The greatest danger had never been the fire itself. The fire was just a symptom, a visible manifestation of a more subtle threat. The real danger had been the unseen force that carried it, the way it arrived quietly, riding on a current that everyone took for granted. He realized that some of the most profound threats don't announce themselves with a roar. They arrive on the breeze, riding forces we forget to watch, hidden in plain sight until it's almost too late. It was a lesson the forest had taught him, and one he would never forget.